Project A back then. And I was interested, but I wasn't like, I'm gonna set up a new channel and we're gonna do this and we're gonna do that. It was none of that when I first learned about it. But
Zakky, my darling, I'm sorry to interrupt you.
That's all good. That's fine.
The stream has gone down.
Oh no.
Are we back, y'all? I just got a text message.
It's live for me.
It's back.
I think, but
okay. Simply Santasia just texted me. Oh my goodness.
Oh gosh, I bet. Oh my gosh, I bet that was stressful for you. Oh no, it's back now. Don't worry, Miranda.
I was just like, oh my goodness, that's never happened before. I'm sorry.
Yeah, do you know what happened?
That was really weird.
That's weird. That's very weird. That's fine though. Don't worry about it. You can't control that stuff. That's absolutely fine.
Let me just. Okay, everyone's saying we're back. We're back up. Thank you, Leslie. Thank you, Party Cakes, Chucky, Milkass, and Simply Santasia for everyone letting me know about that. Sorry about that.
Absolutely. Y'all are the goats.
Yes.
Appreciate y'all.
Oh, Simply Santasia has a good question that we need to ask after this in case I forget. She wants to know, but I want to know why Valorant. So let's go back to that question. And then afterwards, I want to ask you, how did you become an influencer for Riot? Because some people in the chat are interested.
Sure. Awesome. Yeah, no, that's a really good question. That's absolutely fine. Not a problem. First of all, that's a really good question. Simply Santasia. I like that. And that's actually something that I'm asked quite frequently. So that's a good one for me to answer now. But yeah, in terms of so VALORANT HUB, yeah, it was a spur of the moment decision. Essentially, prior to VALORANT, I've been doing media businessy stuff over the past few years, regardless, full time. So and that's all been based on both trends, but sustainable trends, not necessarily fidget spinner trend type of thing, but more so something that I can see hopefully evolving over, say, decades to come, essentially. Now, I've never worked with Riot on anything prior to VALORANT, never really played League of Legends, but I am very aware of the gaming ecosystem, and I know that Riot is a behemoth and a star, really, within the gaming industry. Regarding the innovation that they do within gaming, League of Legends being obviously a huge part of that. So I was already aware of that, and then seeing that they were going to FPS, I'm like, because I was running some other projects and they were doing okay, but I could definitely see them all going a bit slower, and so I wanted to start something new, try something different. So I just started posting tons of content about Valorant, like every streamer opinion, any news update, any bug, any community complaint, posting about 5 to 15 videos per day roughly, for about, I don't know, a few months. And eventually this is the thing, yeah, I mean that no, totally, and that's a common reaction, so fair play. No, totally, I understand it. It's the thing is with this stuff is that when new games come out, and this is how I see it with any game that's come from either Riot, Blizzard, Activision, whoever, is essentially a AAA live service. IP is, if it's going to last for a while, get on it soon. That's always been my way of thinking, is that each time a new game comes out, I know that roughly at least 100 new careers are going to start from each game that comes out.
Wow.
Through influencers, right? And so I just thought, what, I'm not gonna let this one slip, and so I was just like post, and that's basically how that all went down. And yeah, from there it's just been a case of pivoting the content based on what I think is needed and what isn't being done yet. So yeah, that's VALORANT HUB, I suppose.
And how so two-part question, what how do you become an influencer? What would be some advice you might give? And also, how do you follow all of this stuff? I guess do you know what I mean? Where do you have
totally.
where you find most of your sources? I mean, my I'm so interested in pop culture and celebrity gossip and things like that.
Sure.
So I know that it just comes up on my Twitter. I watch things on it on YouTube. So I'm sure it's the same for you.
Yeah.
But is there something in particular that's really been a source of information for you?
I mean, yeah, certain websites like Dexerto.esports, they do a good job, and I definitely used to look at those sites a lot more than I do now. And not because their quality is still great. In fact, if anything, they're only ramping up their quality, so that's really good. But As you say, essentially any interest that you have, as long as you follow the right people and you're obsessively refreshing Twitter enough, which I do, then you're going to you're eventually gonna be aware of everything basically. But it is that's a really interesting point, and it sort of coincides with that how do you become an influencer thing. And I mean, I'm by no means obviously it I suppose there's some level of imposter syndrome when it comes to talking about being an influencer, but it really just comes down to providing as much value as possible to the community, like just being there. People have their own lives. Every community is filled with people who have school, work, different things going on in their lives, and it's difficult for everyone to keep up to date with their interest. And that's sort of where I find my place is to keep everyone up to date, specifically with what they're interested in every single day, at every minute of every hour, basically. So
Right.
it's
That's a really
just
good
a
way
case of being
looking at
obsessed.
it. Yeah. No, I mean, I know. I mean, I love The Bachelor. Well, I did until this season in America was just so toxic and disgusting. But I've always liked The Bachelor and I like reality TV shows. And like
Sure.
there are YouTubers that I follow that constantly provide content about that. I think I've watched every video made about this David Dobrik saga. Have you,
Sure.
so
Yes.
I've been following that. I've been thinking that's so, I mean, terrible and also interesting. Just internet culture is
Sure.
fascinating to me. So yeah, I think that's such a smart way to be like, okay, yeah, like come to me for everything you need to know about Valorant. And if you aren't already, guys,
Absolutely.
subscribe to his YouTube channel because he's
Oh.
constantly posting content. Like
I appreciate that.
it's crazy.
Thank you.
It's crazy. So you don't like to think of yourself as an influencer.
I mean, it's more of an imposter syndrome. I mean, if you were to ask me, when I was 15 or 16, do you want to be an influencer? I would have, the first answer within a millisecond is yes. But and yeah, sure, like I'm I mean, I suppose by the term of what it means, I am an influencer in that there's definitely some influence with Valorant Hub. There's no doubt about that. But yeah, it just, I mean, I would also call you an influencer. So you know what I mean? Like, you don't know how it's difficult to like feel it. You know what I mean? Like you laugh because it's weird to feel.
I mean, I've just started doing this, and I don't think of myself. No, I really don't think. I really
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
you have more followers,
Yeah,
and it's but I know what you're saying. I mean, one of my best
yeah,
friends is a legitimate. I mean, she's across platforms, got like a million followers across like TikTok and Instagram and
sure.
stuff, and she just can't deal with people calling her an influencer. And
Mm.
I get that, because I think there's more to it. It's a lot of
Oh yeah,
work, and honestly, as well, like I think it's also a skill. There are skill sets involved that I don't know that if they're always appreciated. Like just being able to
totally.
come on here and just chat about your life and your career. Like not everyone would be able to do that. So I don't know.
No.
It's kind of like a little bit demeaning to be like, you're an influencer. It's like, no, but I'm like a business person. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm
Yeah, I
shaping my
I
career.
think Yeah, I think that because I see it a lot on Twitter, especially I don't know if you know Taylor Lorenz, or I don't know how to say the name honestly, my bad. But like they post about what's happening in the TikTok scene, and they've had some really horrible comments about reporting on TikTok influencers, and um, I think the word influencer has definitely, every word over time builds its own new meaning within culture, essentially.
Hmm.
I don't see it like, as far as I'm concerned, influencers have always been a thing, even before the internet. Like TV presenters have been influencers. Like there's no difference in my head apart from that we own as far as we don't need to go through. I mean, like when you tweet something, you don't need to go through a department to check if it can be tweeted. You tweet what you want to tweet, right?
Probably
And the
should.
same thing with me. But that's the thing,
My
though.
agent would like it if I did.
But that's the whole thing, is that I think influencer mainly is because there's been misconceptions, especially around YouTube and TikTok, around filming yourself to make a living. It's had its own cultural connotations, but I don't mind being called an influencer. knowing what an influencer actually is, which is someone who essentially has influence over people, which is just talking to people. Like that's all it is. Like everyone here in their own right is an influencer in your social group.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's just I don't think it's not a bad word the way that
Yeah,
I think some people
yeah.
see it as.
And I think it's actually really important to think about the influence that you have, even if you have, you know, like 200 followers on Instagram. I mean, if
Totally.
you post something and one person sees it and is aware of like a social cause that they weren't aware of or see things from a different perspective, then you have influence. And
Mhm.
sometimes we get caught up thinking that our platforms are smaller or whatever. And I know I've been guilty of that. And it's like, well, just you still have some influence over people no matter really who you
Absolutely.
are. So you kind of have to think about that when you're creating content. I've been seeing stuff. I see TikToks a lot, and I think to myself, even though like I get making teasing someone or like making a joke out of something for like for comedy's sake, right? Like I don't know if you
Mm.
saw on. Do you know who Addison Rae is, the
Yeah,
TikToker?
of course.
So she released this new song, and did you see all those TikToks of people teasing the way she was dancing in the video?
No, but I know the culture.
Yeah. And it was just like this kid's like, I don't know how old Addison Rae is, but I feel like she's like 17
I
or
think she's
18.
around 18 or something. Yeah,
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 she's
something like
she's
that.
to me, she's a teenager, so she's not. Well,
Sure.
I guess she's an adult. But anyway, whatever. Irregardless,
I know what you mean. I know what you
she's
mean. I
young.
think, but what you're
She's
saying that from is
young.
from a safeguarding point of view, which
Yeah.
it's not. It's yeah. I see what you're
People
saying.
are teasing her dancing, and the videos. You know, sometimes I'm like, haha. But then at a certain point, I think, are you making the world a better place by posting this? Or are you just making some young girl who's gorgeous and successful, but a good person probably feels shitty about
Mm.
herself? Like, what are you achieving through
Mhm.
this? Like, did you need to make that TikTok, that 15-second TikTok? Like, I just don't like that kind of
Absolutely.
stuff. Like, I just think
It's so toxic. It's
it's
so
so
flipping
toxic.
toxic and so unnecessary. And I think it's very easy when everything is behind a screen, not just from a commenter's point of view, but from a creator's point of view. And I've definitely noticed this myself. I do sometimes step back when I get like a hate comment, which there is more of them more recently. And I step back and I just think you've never spoken to before. Like, I don't know you. Like, you don't know me. Let's have a chat if you wanna. If you have an issue like that, that's the, that's how I see it. You don't know the person. Like these are people. They are people. They do have they have a number next to account that shows that they've got a lot of influence, but these are all people. Everyone online, as many viewers as many followers as they'll have, I see people like comment about me in my comment section saying he's this, he's that, and I'm like, I'm he. He is reading your comments. Like, you're not
Yeah.
talking to some robot. Like, I'm a person.
No, yeah, I totally get it. It's so hard. So uh it's emotionally draining as well, isn't it?
Mm, yeah,
To and like you put yourself out there when you put yourself on the internet, so it's kind of like a part of it, but it's really tough. It's really tough.
yeah. I think also and this is what I've seen as well a lot on Twitter is people pass insults off as jokes, and even if they are, even if it's a light joke that, can come across as an attack or something, like I say, at the end of the day, if someone doesn't know who you are, and this goes for any social, any person, any social dynamic, if someone doesn't know who you are, how can they tell that you're joking if they say you suck? It sounds like an attack. Like that's just basic conversation. But
Yeah,
like I think this will I don't know where it's gonna go over time. We'll see. I mean, I don't
yeah.
know.
I
But yeah.
I have had people say like, I hate you, I hate your voice. How does it feel to voice the worst video game character of all time? Like I've had some crazy stuff said to me. And if I ever respond to them, and I'll be like, wow, like that's a really hurtful thing to say. I'm sending you love because you're obviously in a bad place. Because to me, you're going to write something like that on someone you don't know's social media account, like I don't know what you must be going through to think that's appropriate.
Yeah.
And so I'll say something like that to them, and they'll be like, "Geez, it's a joke." And I'm like, "What? If I came up to you and I said, I
Yeah.
hate you, and
Yeah.
you have you have the worst voice I've ever heard, and then I went, it's a joke," you'd be like, what? So I think there's some
No.
disconnect there. Like, what?
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, and this does go into a more in depth and somewhat more serious way of looking at it. But I because obviously Twitter and TikTok has a lot of these things, and it's one thing insulting someone's voice and their profession, but it's also just what 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 is the plan here?
Yeah.
What is the plan here? What's I'm seeing people saying Addison's 20. I didn't know, my bad. I thought to be honest with you, and this is gonna sound I hope it doesn't sound bad, but like last time, because Addison has been doing TikTok for a while now, and I've been aware I'm aware of like what's happening in TikTok, not like all the drama necessarily, but I'm aware of who's doing well.
Right.
And she's been doing well for a couple of years. So like I say, everything's a blur. So I don't know what people's ages are on it at this point, honestly.
But
But yeah,
20 is
no,
still
it's
young. Like when I was, 20, I didn't want, like, I wouldn't have. I mean, I had to deal with a lot of criticism
yeah.
because of acting, and it wasn't. I struggled with it. Um,
I mean, I struggle with stuff at 22, so
yeah, yeah. It's not like you suddenly, like you're in your mid to late 20s and like you're like, I don't get insulted anymore. Like that's like not how it works.
yeah,
You're still fragile. You probably always will be. Okay, I'm just going to
yeah.
answer a couple of people's questions in the chat. The chat is like very delayed for me. Like I'm still, yeah, I can't even see
That's
that
all good.
Addison Ray comment that you're talking about. So I apologize, guys. Leslie asked me to show the mug, and I really want cred
Okay.
for this. I want clout for the mug.
Fair.
It's a Game Boy controller. It's so cool. My friend Jeremy gave it to me the other day. It's actually kind of difficult to drink out of. Sorry, it's got my lipstick all over it because of the shape. The shape is not ideal, but I wanted to show y'all.
Do you realize that I would imagine maybe half of the people watching this have probably never held a Game Boy before?
Mhm, mhm. I
Yep.
do realize that. I know. My friend who gave it to me, he's like, I think he's like mid 40s or something, and he was like, "Do you even know what
Right.
it is?" I'm like, "Yes, I do know what it is." I
Uh,
played the oh, I'm confused. Sorry.
that's okay.
I've played whatever the old school version of Mario Kart is. Have you played that?
64.
Yeah, I've played
Yeah,
like
yeah.
vintage Mario Kart before.
I was a Mario Kart champion. I was no, to be fair, I got into it around that time, but I was like, I suppose I got a little hardcore into Mario Kart when I was about 11 maybe, and I remember playing it on the Wii eventually, and I actually set a world record on one of the time trials.
Shut
I was
up!
a I was really into it. I was no lifing it. I remember playing past my bedtime at like 9 p.m. or something, and just to get the time trial, and not influencing anyone else to do that, obviously, but just yeah, that was a great moment. I remember.
I've not asked you this. Are you an only child, or do you have brothers and sisters?
I've got step siblings, but I am an only child. Yeah, as
Oh,
far as like
cool.
yeah,
And
yeah. So I'm definitely I've been what's the word, spoiled in that way as an only child on that basis. I actually just remembered Simply Santasia asked about influencer for Riot or stuff. So I personally don't work, because this is something that comes up quite often about whether or not I work for Riot or not, which I understand why people ask. I don't work for Riot. I've never been paid by Riot, because that's one of the bigger questions. Really, is do they pay you to make videos? No, they've never paid me to make videos, and that's not unusual. I mean, in some games there are paid activations. Like Ninja, there was that reported deal for him playing on stream for a few hours for $1 million to play Apex. And that obviously that did make sense for Ninja, knowing his reach and his influence. But personally, no, they don't do that. What they do is they try and help us to reach our audience, to build, to give us resources to make the Valorant experience just more fun for everyone. And on that, and it's really good, honestly, because realistically, and this is what I've said to someone in Riot at some point before around this whole content model, is it works brilliantly because the advertisers pay us. Riot doesn't have to shell out any money to actually pay influencers to market the game, so it's kind of just a win-win. The more that we do, the more that we reach people, the more that we help people, the more profitable it becomes, in all honesty, which from a business perspective obviously is important. So I've never been paid by Riot for anything, but they've definitely, as a lot of you will know, we've had exclusive access to new content early. I've got my nice Valorant hoodie on right now, which I appreciate, and stuff like that. But yeah, no, that's the sort of relationship that we have right now. So yeah.
Is the sorry, Zacky, I was trying to get, I have another laptop next to me, so I was trying to get it up on the laptop next to me.
That's fine.
Is showing up on the screen, Zacky?
On the screen, no. I can see.
Twitch? Like, can people see this at the chat? Have I done?
So no, the stream chat isn't on the actual screen itself, but I can see it, if that makes sense. It's not an overlay though.
Oh, okay.
On the,
Maybe that's how it's supposed to be. I don't know. Anyway, I don't want to get.
Also, hello, Simprel.
Oh, yes, and also, yes, Simprel, thank you so much for following, guys. If you aren't following, follow me.
Of course. Follow Miranda on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube, and watch every single video, please. She's got a great TikTok. Honestly, I'm so impressed by your TikTok and what you've done with it. I'm so impressed.
Oh, thank you. I haven't made a TikTok in like 9 or 10 days, and I have to do it. I really like making TikToks.
It's that treadmill, isn't it? Of I haven't done it, so now I got to get onto it ASAP. I know how it is.
And it feels so overwhelming, and it's like, it's just a TikTok. Like, why am I feeling so overwhelmed by it? But
Oh, I totally understand. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, especially with the organic reach on TikTok, plus your already existing following on TikTok, like whenever at this point, and this is one of the reasons why I enjoy having a second channel now for Valorant Hub, is that whenever I post a video to Valorant Hub, I'm always nervous now because there's always that, what's it gonna do? Is it gonna hit 50,000 views, 100, 5,000? Because it has obviously the potential to hit great, great audiences. And obviously, the channel is on its slow but steady route to 100,000. So it does get nerve-wracking. So
I know, and you do feel like it's that pressure of like how many views, and honestly, the like I'm like 25 followers away from 9K on TikTok, and I've been doing it for like
amazing
3 months. So once I get to 10K, I'm gonna start a cameo, because I feel like I just can't start. Everyone's like, start a cameo, because people message me and ask me to send videos to their friends and stuff, saying voice lines for their birthdays and stuff. And I feel like I can't, I don't know, starting a cameo is just like something that I just feel you do at a certain level, and I don't feel I'm there. But at 10K, I'll do it. I've said that to people.
It's all down to what people want. If people want it, you're at the level.
I know. It's just something about it. It's like I'm saying, like, I'm a celebrity, and it's like, I don't think that, obviously.
I understand. It's imposter syndrome to a certain extent.
Yeah, I think
It sounds like.
so. But it's, it just, I don't know. I don't even know. Whatever, it's not about me. Okay, so I'm just reading. Yes, guys, and also join my Discord if you want. So I wanted to ask you, Zacky. So this is something you and I talk about a lot. And we don't have to go too much into it, as I said to you yesterday. But I did want to ask
Sure.
you, a lot has been going on recently in gaming culture. A lot of people getting called out. You don't have to comment on that, but we all know what we're referring to. And there's
Sure.
and there's a lot of stuff happening as we're also in a very interesting cultural moment in 2021 off the back of BLM and a lot of social
Hmm.
justice movements and the Me Too movement. And how do you feel like all of this has come to affect the culture of gaming right now? Where do you think we're at?
I think a lot. I think since 2020 mainly, with the political stuff that was happening. Because let's be real, like politics just the heat just the gas was turned on last year in a major way with especially US politics realistically, and so much was going on, and I think a lot of people's, and you actually something that you said recently when we were on a call about um young people now especially starting to take sides and to start to actually uh stand up for their beliefs, and I think a lot of people's beliefs are now being exposed on all sides of the spectrum, from one view to the other view to the next view, and I think unfortunately what seems to be happening is respect has sort of flown out the window regarding how
Mhm.
to convey your message. And because I remember last year, I had my own way of thinking, obviously, about what I was seeing and stuff, and I definitely got into more debates and arguments than I would have liked to. And eventually, I sort of realized, okay, let's try and have a conversation. But even trying to have a conversation that last year was impossible because the first, as soon as you are identified as on one side of the coin, suddenly you'll have everything hurled at you, attack after attack after attack after attack. And it's definitely it sucks that a lot of us aren't able to have the conversations that it would be, I think, healthy for us to be able to have. That said, I also do think that to a certain extent, it also comes just down to values, and I think values is a cultural thing at the end of the day, and it's based on where you're based in the world, your community, this, that, and the other. But more recently, with things that have come out, it definitely has, and I posted about this on Twitter somewhat recently. It's a shame to see it's a shame to see what certain people's viewpoints are, I suppose, and how more so how they've expressed them. It would be good if we could just actually have a conversation, but it doesn't seem to be possible on the internet. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And I mean, sorry, I'm literally just laughing at Orange DD because I was listening to
Sorry, I
him
haven't been checking the
and
chat
he's
as
like,
much as I should
he
be.
was saying that I have the face again because when I'm like focused, I look really confused. I call it
Oh, right,
resting duck
yeah.
face. I'm like, but it's just me listening to
I don't notice anything.
trust me. It's there. So yeah, I think it's really interesting and like from from living in America as someone who's a migrant, I guess. I'm from
Mm,
Australia. It was a really tense year, and actually, this
I bet.
this year is still really tense. With some of the stuff that's been happening with the Asian community, it's gotten tense again.
Sure.
But I think like the one thing that I actually learned, and I don't think I was really very capable of this in Australia. It's like I've always been a liberal person. I've always been pretty
Mm,
left wing, and I was raised that way, right? And
sure.
I was raised working class in a working class family, etc. So those values are things
Sure.
that like whatever, and we're but politics in Australia is very different. We're a very privileged country, and it's a small population. And then I came here, and I think I wasn't always willing to hear the other side. But I have friends, close friends of mine, who don't have the same political viewpoints that I do, and it it's last year kind of taught me to like listen to other people's opinions and stuff a bit more. And I don't always agree with them, but I see how they got to that viewpoint. And people thinking
Sure.
differently than you obviously there are certain things that we need to feel the same about. Like
Yeah.
you can't be like, I hate gay people. Like I'm not going to be
Yeah.
friends with you if you have that viewpoint. Like,
Totally.
but it's like there are just I don't know. I just think it's such a complicated thing, and we do have
Yes.
to be
It's a very
willing.
complex situation. There's and this is the thing. Sorry to cut you off,
Oh
but
no,
it's
cut me off.
also with the spectrum, it seems as though one label says everything someone needs to know about you. In terms of one word, and it blows my mind because people ask me, are you left, are you right? I mean, I think most people know I'm not right wing, but and so, but and I'm not, and I'm also not far left either. I actually like to think of myself as fairly centre in a lot of things, and basically trying to understand everyone's viewpoints. Like I wish there was a term for that, but it doesn't seem to be one. I don't
Yeah,
know, but regardless, it definitely does. But as you say, there are certain things that personally, I've personally cut off, respectfully, but respectfully cut off some of my communication with certain people online because of they've I suppose at the moment, as we've said, people are being in a way forced to take sides, and I've seen certain viewpoints being shown, and I'm like, it's good having friends, but like you say, if someone's saying death to all X people here,
yeah, minority community here. Ooh,
uh, I can't be. Uh,
you froze it for a second,
oh
but
no,
I think you're back. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Okay, see, here's a little thing. My internet. Okay, that's good. Sometimes my internet drops, and I thought that happened for a second, but I think we're okay now.
We're back
Can you hear
again.
me?
I can hear you.
Okay, cool. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, cool, cool.
Okay, well, I think it's really interesting. I think personally, I had this conversation with my mum last night because she was really feeling upset about some of this stuff, and she feels like the she's like, are people still nice to each other? Like that kind of conversation. Sometimes you might watch the news and have a moment where you kind of go, "Oh, the world's a really bad place." And
Mm,
I said, like I just think some of this has been in the dark. It's now being brought to light.
yes, yes.
We're in a transitional period. We're all figuring out how to communicate with each other about these really heavy, big topics. It's affecting
Mhm.
every single aspect of our lives. It's affecting the gaming community, the television, film, The Bachelor. Like, I mean, it's just crazy. I try
Yeah.
not to reference The Bachelor, but if you watch The Bachelor, you know what I mean. And it's like, it's just, it's affecting every aspect of our lives. And
Mm,
I think that if we just keep moving through it, we're going to get to a really positive place. And
totally.
yeah, I hope.
No, I totally agree. I think positive messaging and actually being able to discuss things on Twitch streams, on Twitter, on YouTube, etc., without, like I say, cursing people out and just basically behaving properly. I think the more that we have conversation happening, like you say, the thing is with social, at this point now, a lot of the world are connected, right? I mean, obviously there are still portions of the world who don't have the access, but realistically, it's becoming more and more affordable to have, a phone, to have the internet, and to be able to do that. And so, pretty much everyone now, unlike any time really before in history, there's no gatekeeping at this point regarding people being able to talk to each other. At this point, if you post something on Twitter, anyone can see. I was actually, this is a bit off topic, but I noticed on VALORANT HUB recently on the Twitter, and this was a soft spot for me because I used to go there when I was when I was really little. But the Maldives Federation of Gaming or something followed VALORANT HUB, and I used to go to the Maldives when I was little for like holidays, and I was just like, the Maldives, like I know that the thing is global, but I was amazed. I was like, that's crazy.
Yeah,
So yeah, no,
that's so
it really has.
cool.
Yeah, it's clearly connected everyone, and I think we're as a it sounds weird, but as a race, maybe we're sort of not as a race, say as a species, we're sort of we're globalizing. We're starting to communicate,
Mm,
and that's going to come with growing pains, but we do need to figure it out because yeah.
Yeah, and you
So
know, I guess the thing that I think we all need to remember is to just like lead with kindness and
yeah.
lead with love. Like, you know, with any interactions
Hmm.
we have, it can be so difficult. Um, yeah, I had someone the other day, I won't even explain the situation, but be so rude to me. This was in real life, like I was at a bar.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and someone was awful, and it was really a bizarre situation. Like, I don't know where this was all coming from. It was a very strange interaction. And I was kind of like, it was kind of like shocking, and everyone was like, what the hell was that? And, but it was a moment where, you know, I was upset at first, but then I kind of thought, I'm like, damn, like something real bad's got to be happening in that woman's life or day or
Mm.
whatever. Some stuff. There's some stuff there, and I think we have to remember that. Like, hopefully, people are good.
That sounds like an IRL Twitter engagement, if you see what I mean, because obviously people are at each other's necks on Twitter. So
Oh my god,
yeah.
I don't know how you're on Twitter so much. Twitter is too much for me. It's
You know what? I'm really looking forward to the day where Valorant Hub is at the point where I can hire the right people and enough people because I don't want anyone else going through honestly. And it sounds like I don't want anyone else going through what I go through. The reason I say it's not the hardest job in the world, but it's mentally taxing. And I can't wait to have a number of people who can scroll through and see what's happening. Take 2 days off because that is realistically how at least the time that people need off Twitter because it can be horrible out there. So I'm looking forward to when I'm not having to be aware of everything that's going on. But I feel like that's a little way off still. So
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, and I totally get that. Like yeah, I've come into a lot of this stuff super naively, and I retweeted something, a joke about conservative Christians that I guess I probably shouldn't have retweeted because it offended
Hmm.
conservative Christians. And then I ended
Sure.
up getting like, I mean, it was crazy. And that was
Oh
like,
no, I can imagine.
it was bad. And I was like, oh my goodness, I'm never going to do that again. And I think I've like naively gone into things like with Twitter and
Sure.
just been like, ha ha ha. But then since I got Valorant, there's been a little bit more attention and on my
Yeah.
socials, and I'm like realizing you can't just like say whatever you think is funny or whatever. So
Hmm.
I think that yeah, that's definitely true. You've got to be
I understand that. I've definitely had to be more careful on Twitter since being on Valorant than previously. Because honestly, I would get into a lot more like back in 2020. I would definitely get and 2019. I'd get into a lot more debates. But the thing is, I people now see what I tweet and reply to and stuff. So I'm like, I hope my internet isn't doing the same thing again.
it
Okay,
did,
I
it
think
did
we
for
might
a
be back. Yeah.
second, but
Um.
you're back. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on. But yeah,
Okay.
no, it's I appreciate that. But yeah, no, it's a crazy world out there. It's a crazy world, and I'm trying not to I try to be like I say, to a certain extent there is influence, and I think I might have been saying this to Simpro maybe a few days ago, is that we do when you have you have a number next to the follower account, right? But the numbers mean a lot more than I think people give credit for, maybe. And when I say people, myself included, when I think about the one person, let alone the over 1,000 people who see what who will see what I tweet about, I'm like, oh, okay, there's actually quite a few people here now. And it's not even 100,000, it's not even 10,000, it's not even 5,000.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still a lot of people. I don't know if you saw
Oh,
all this. I think
love to
Alexander.
hear.
Do you know?
Oh,
Oh,
sorry, go. Oh,
that's okay. Sorry, that's all right.
someone's satchel jump is rating with a party of 31.
Ooh,
Holy moly!
let's go!
Eh,
Woo, satchel jump.
I don't know, but that's the nicest thing ever. What a
No, I said
sweet.
woo, not who.
Oh,
Woo.
but they're great. Um,
Let's go, satchel jump.
hey, thank you guys. I just got a few follows. Google, Matt's Love Satchel, and Coco Cabana. I'm saying all these names wrong. 00018. Thank you for following. This is so sweet. I'm talking to a dear friend of mine. You probably know him, and not who I am. But this is Zakky from Valorant Hub, the
That's
amazing.
not true.
The he runs an incredible YouTube channel. for Valorant, and I'm Miranda, and I'm the voice of Skye in the video game Valorant.
Woo!
You, you.
Let's go.
We are just having a chat about all things Valorant. So I wanted to ask you as well, Zacky. So we talked about some heaviness. We've talked about the gaming community, the
Course.
culture of gaming, burnout, influence of burnout. We talked about a lot of stuff today. So I wanted to ask
Of
you,
course.
what you always have like fun little. Oh my goodness, you guys! Thank you so much for all these followers.
Have you seen the Skye emotes?
What?
The Skye emotes that they have.
Are they my emotes? They can't be because I'm not an affiliate yet.
No, I think they probably had them commissioned or something, but they're amazing. They have like they have your character, they have your the abilities. I mean, the cabbage isn't a cabbage; it's a jellyfish. But you're close. You're close. I'm assuming that's the ultimate ability. But no, that's awesome. That's so cool, Satchel Jump. I love to see it.
Oh my goodness, I can't. I'm having some minor issues with like seeing the chat and what's going on, so I'm gonna have to watch
Do
it.
you want me to send you a screenshot? Would that help you?
Yeah, send me a screenshot, babe.
Sure.
Because I don't know what's going on. It's not like
That's
I'm
absolutely
following it
fine.
on my phone and I can't.
Yeah, I'll send it to you over Discord now. There we go. Oh, I found their youth channel.
You found
Let's
what?
go, Satchel Jump. You're awesome. I found their youth channel. They're popping off too. To be fair,
Oh my
they're popping off.
goodness! You guys are. Oh my god! Tobin.
They are definitely a Skye main. They're definitely a Skye main.
God, that's so fun. They're a Skye main.
Absolutely. I'll link you their channel. You'll see. That's actually really impressive.
Channel, and I'll reach out to them and we can be friends. I think they're cabbages. Oh my god, I can see it. Oh my god, I can see the Skye emotes. Are you kidding? Bro, that is so cool. Matt's Love Satchel said, yes, be friends with Satchy. Yes, I will, my dude. This is so fun.
That's so awesome, Satchel.
Oh, we have the
I'm
biggest
gonna.
Skye community. I'm dying. This is the cutest thing ever. Oh my god.
Oh, hold up. Satchel, are you with Obey? Oh, okay. So just to explain what that means, Miranda, you have like FaZe and 100 Thieves and these different esports organizations. And Satchel, I might get this. I hope I'm not getting this wrong. I just looked your Twitter up really quickly, Satchel. And it looks like they're a content creator for the Obey Alliance, which is a well-known esports organization. So they're killing it. That's awesome.
Yay!
That's so cool.
Congrats, Satchel. That's so cool. Satchel said yes, I'm in Obey. Oh my goodness.
That makes sense.
You'll have to come on and have a chat with me. This is the cutest thing ever. I can't believe you guys are here.
That's so dope.
That's so cute. I also I got emotes made. So hang on, I gotta plug my laptop here.
All good.
I got emotes made, and one of them, and they were done by Leslie Bear. I can't wait to show you guys them. And one of them is a Skye.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Leslie.
Yeah.
Leslie's a valuable member of the Valorant Hub community as well. I think finding Valorant Hub through you. So let's go, Leslie.
Oh my
yeah,
god!
pretty sure.
Leslie is the best. Also, I wanted to give a shout out to Lumi_R2P, who made the emotes that we've been talking about for Satchel. So congratulations on being such a great artist. You're so clever. Y'all are so cute.
I'm just stalking Satchel's Twitter, by the way. Hi, Satchel.
Imagine your alarm said, "Wake up, you cheeky bugger." So funny. Y'all are so cute.
Hey.
Hey. Okay. So yeah, Zacky, what the hell was I asking you? I was asking you, what do you see for the future of Valorant at this point? Like, what is your little insight prediction? What do you think is going to happen next? You were right about Astra.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta say that the Astra research was. I mean, I definitely did put my own number of hours into it, but I also want to do some shout outs to those who have been really helpful, like really trying to be helpful. Disturbo, Simpral's obviously been amazing. Schick as well. I mean, I haven't spoken as much with Schick recently, but especially Disturbo is in as much as sending me a lot of Reddit information regarding what we could see in the future. But yeah, no, Astra was definitely teased by Riot. We saw a number of Easter eggs through, in game, outside of the game, etc. So that was really cool. But in terms of like what we can see in the future, thankfully, actually, my excitement, not that it was totally down, but my excitement definitely, my hype and excitement renewed after listening and watching the Rift Radio podcast. Shout out to Simpral with David Nottingham, Valorant's creative director.
Oh
And
wow.
Valorant's creative director was really um, it was a very good podcast. It was really interesting to listen to. We've already made one video about it, but there's going to be more. But essentially, the creative end of Valorant is looking really exciting. They clearly understand culture, and what that sort of means in sort of gameplay terms, I suppose, and new content terms is. I think what I'm seeing is that Valorant, they're not necessarily telling us everything that we should be seeing soon. So that's one thing, and that's what's made things a bit difficult for me as a news creator, is trying to get people excited for something that we don't really know about right now.
Mm,
But on that same thing, they clearly understand what Valorant needs to do to succeed, to grow, etc. And you know how we've been talking about like films, short films, cinematics, all that sort of stuff.
mm,
Well, I think it's basically just going to be more and more and more of what we want. I think it's just going to take longer than I personally expected, which is fine. When you're trying to perfect a project, that's what you got to do. You got to take your time on it, and it's clear that the team is doing that. They're not rushing anything, which is amazing. But yeah, it looks like if we want some juicy goss or some juicy ideas for new maps or whatever, because I know some people look for that. Obviously, well, not obviously, but we're looking at a new ship map potentially. I gotta say now, when I say potentially, I really mean that as well. I'm not saying we're gonna see a new ship map. It's just an idea based on some of the battle pass cards that we've seen, etc. So that's a thing. But as far as like a new agent is concerned, it seems just way too early to know anything about the next agent. Astra only came out a few weeks ago now. And I think based on what we've seen with the battle pass, they're being a bit more. I think this time actually they're breaking the loop a little bit with how they've done things before. Because previously they've used the Valorant battle pass to tease almost everything. And this time round, it doesn't seem like we have any agent teasers, which means that they're probably going to do something different this time round. When will that be? I would assume in the next 3 weeks, is my guess.
mm.
And that'll be very exciting. Astra was such a unique agent, um, both with her background as far as the storyline behind her and her abilities. I'm not sure if you've seen much of Astra already, but she's a badass Ghanaian. uh, we don't even know. The thing is, it's difficult. We can't confirm anything because we don't know what their full background is. Like even with Skye, I know obviously that Skye is an eco warrior from Nimbin, but we don't know anything apart from that right now, at least. So we're still learning a lot. But
I don't know
yeah, no,
either,
this.
to be fair. I made it up in my head for the backstory for because I was the
Hmm.
voice, but yeah, I don't know. And they kind of insinuated that stuff like that would be revealed in the future, Riot did. So
Yeah, for sure. And actually, I maybe one thing that would be juicier maybe is when Simprel was asking David Nottingham about, because in Valorant there's this conflict between Valorant and Kingdom Corporation. And one thing I wasn't aware of is that I'm not sure how like how much you've looked at like the Kingdom conflict with Valorant and stuff, but there's this conflict between one group basically and another group, and essentially it sounds like the Kingdom Corporation conflict is not the only conflict that we're going to see, which tells me that we're really in for the long run. Which also tells me I would be really surprised if within the next decade that we're not going to see some sort of film. Like it's too perfect an opportunity for them to miss. I think they have it in their sights, but that's a long way away.
I do too, but I think it might be a long way as well. And that's
Yes.
not based on me knowing anything. That's just based on optimism. I but it would be so cool to see it, I think. Um, I'm just reading some of the chat.
For sure.
And now that you say that you think that maybe it wouldn't be an agent reveal, it does kind of make sense because I think they probably they've released a lot of agents recently. I mean, me, Yuru, and Astra were released. I only came out at the end of October.
Yeah, it's a space of 6 months because each agent is a 2-month gap between. So,
Right.
yeah, I think we will see a new agent. When would it be now? Probably in like, I don't know, a month and a bit. Just based on like the official timeline of like how agents release, because we see an agent every 2 months. But I don't actually this I think people will like this. As far as a new map is concerned, which I know everyone wants a new map, like straight away, including myself, to be fair. I think we're gonna see a new map, whether it's a ship or not. I think we're gonna see a new map, either next act, which will be in literally a month's time roughly, or in the next episode, which will be 3 months time from now. So that's a little thing that people will be wanting to know about. I know is the new map stuff. So
Oh, the new agent is Paul. Everyone's saying Paul.
the new agent is Paul. Yes, I mean, hey, who knows? But that's actually interesting because that's something that I was thinking about when David Nottingham was talking about different. Because there's not the only people that we know in Valorant right now are all characters. So Skye, for example, is an agent, obviously, right? And so we have that whole roster, but we don't really know anyone outside of the agent roster. And what David has said is that we're going to have other characters that aren't part of the agent roster. So they're not going to be playable characters, but we're going to learn more about new people within the storyline that aren't playable.
Oh,
So that's where a lot of
whoa.
excitement comes from.
Oh, that's so cool.
And I think Paul will be one of those people. I think Paul will be. I'm not sure if you know the reference of Paul, but he's been somewhat of a meme within the Valorant community since Icebox released. So yeah, I don't think he'll be playable. And hey, if he is, why not? Like, why not?
Improv said,
Yeah,
much excited. That's such a
much
cool
excites.
Much
Absolutely.
excite. David Nottingham is the executive producer.
Sorry, creative director.
Creative director. Okay, I have one more question, and then we
Sure.
might wrap things up. My love, what do you think? What country do you think the next agent is going to be from?
No idea, but what do I want to see? Because I say no idea very quickly because we
What do
really
you want
don't.
to see? Yes, no.
Yeah, what I think would be interesting from a storyline perspective, I know, and you know this, Miranda, as well, that that Riot likes to do a lot of representation. So it's possible that we'll see an Indian agent, which I know has been a thing that the community wants to see for a while now. What I would like to see from a storyline perspective is a Bhutanese agent,
Holy heck, that's
which
specific.
which is specifically for those who, because Bhutanese, not a lot of people will know. So a Bhutanese agent, and to be fair, I don't know if this is actually how you say Bhutanese, like the word, but from Bhutan, basically. So Bhutan is a country. I hope I get this right now. Just north of India, very sort of close
Iconic
to
Queen
Nepal.
followed. Thank you so much for following Iconic Queen. You are.
Thank you, Iconic Queen. Thank you.
Go on, Zacky.
No worries, no worries. Yeah, no, I think we could see a Bhutanese agent on the basis of if they wanted to connect. There's a map called Haven, which is based in Bhutan. It's a beautiful map. It's based on like a temple. I believe it's a Buddhist temple based on the art that I see in the map. So yeah, it'll be interesting. We could see a Bhutanese agent. Apart from that, though, I know the thing is, representation wise, we have an agent from Australia, clearly. We have we have an agent from Russia. We have 2 agents now from Africa. We have 2 agents from Europe. I'm probably getting some of this I'm probably missing out, you know, one or two. But yeah, we've seen a lot of agents from all these different places. We haven't seen one from Southeast Asia specifically. We have seen quite a few agents from Asia already. We've got Jet from Korea, Sage from China. But yeah, I think there's always room for an Indian agent.
I am with you.
So
I know a lot of people that message me and stuff are Indian, and I would love to see that community be represented. And I know they will be at some point. Like, there's going to be an Indian
yes.
agent at some point. Riot
Yeah, yeah,
knows
totally.
that there's such a huge fan base there. So, and I think that that's so lovely. Um, all right, you guys, I have to pee so bad. It's an emergency.
Oh no.
But I do want to say to you, you know, I love you so much. I just think you're the
Oh, of
best.
course,
You're
likewise.
so interesting and lovely and kind, and I appreciate you coming on my stream. And I appreciate the
Thank you
fact,
for having me.
and I appreciate the fact that we that this worked and that we didn't have audio problems.
Mm.
Which,
Yes! Let's go! Let's go, Miranda and Simply Fantasia popping off. Let's go. Let's go.
it was 100% Simply Fantasia. I was present for the audio issues that we were having, and yesterday her and I spent an entire day trying to fix it. But she's my
Well
moderator,
done.
and yeah, I just have to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you, Simply Fantasia, for helping me to have
Big
this.
shout out.
Yeah, big shout
Big
out. You are
shout
such
out.
a legend, and I appreciate you. I also appreciate Leslie for making my emotes, which I can't wait to share with you guys, and being a really great supporter. And also to Satchel for rating us today, and for us for new friends, y'all. I just think it's so amazing.
Honestly, I'm really happy that Satchel raided you because I didn't. I'll be honest, because you know there are so many creators out there. Sorry, I know that you need to go soon.
No, you're
But
fine.
yeah,
You're fine.
there are so many creators out there. It's impossible to keep up to date with everyone. I'm really glad that Satchel raided the stream just on the not just on the basis, but also on the basis of learning about Satchel. Because
Yeah,
now
exactly.
I'll be aware and it's some good stuff there, Satchel. So love to see it. Love to see it.
Yeah, thank you so much, Satchel. Also, guys, follow Zakky, follow VALORANT HUB
Oh,
on YouTube so you can keep up to date with all of his content. He makes really incredible VALORANT content, and
thank
also
you.
follow his socials and his Twitch. He streams on Twitch as well.
Ah, thank you.
So
Yes, follow me on Twitch.
I'm gonna put his socials when I post this on YouTube.
No
Um,
worries.
and what else was I gonna say? I don't know. You guys are hot and you're smart, and don't let anyone tell you otherwise. I love you guys. I'm so excited. Zacky, I'm going to call you in a minute. I got to run and pee. It's an emergency.
No worries. You do what you need to do.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye, friends.